Hello and welcome back to Nerd Nation. Today I have some exciting news for all Hogwarts Legacy fans out there. The copies of the game are officially out in the wild, and the next week is going to be an amazing one. With new gameplay reveals, interviews, and new mount footage, we have a lot to talk about. Now let's get started with the new footage of the majestic Hippogriff mount, one of the trusty companions that you'll get to rescue at some point in the main story. The game features two of these mounts, one acquired from the story, which is the white one, and the second Onyx Hippogriff, which you can get by pre-ordering the game. Currently, there's no official information on whether there's any difference between these besides the color, and it's likely that the pre-order one will be available faster when starting the game. However, the same cannot be said about the Thestral. I had high hopes of there being a different variant of the Thestral in the game, but after asking the official support page, they confirmed that there's no other means to unlock another Thestral through normal gameplay. You either have to buy the deluxe edition or the pack separately once the game launches. But I would argue that there are still reasons to get the deluxe edition, such as the extra dark arts cosmetics, the arena, and especially the 72-hour early access. And speaking of early access, it's wild to think that Hogwarts Legacy copies have already been spotted out in the wild, and with such an anticipated release, I don't think the street date will last long before being broken. Just like with God of War Ragnarok, which had a notoriously tight embargo, yet copies still got out over a week in advance. Good news, though, if you play on Steam with the deluxe edition and only have one copy, and are on a tighter budget, one copy is enough for family sharing to benefit from the 72-hour early access. This means that if you have a friend or sibling, both of you can play via family share and still benefit from the early release. And speaking of that, the embargo for content creators also lifts when the early access starts, so expect walkthroughs and gameplay to drop starting February 7th. By the way, if you want to play even earlier than that, the New Zealand trick is still likely going to be your best friend for PC and Xbox. It's pretty straightforward. You can use a VPN or just change your country or region to New Zealand and get an 8-hour advantage. For PlayStation users, it's a bit more complicated as it requires creating a New Zealand account and buying the game via the New Zealand PlayStation Network, but you only have to do that once and you'll be able to do this for all future releases. We also have a lot more information coming our way from the Hogwarts Legacy advanced game designer over at Avalanche Studios. He shed some light on how certain things will work in the game. On the subject of season changes and how the passage of time is represented, he mentions that the passing of time will have an impact on the environment, creatures, and events in the game. As the player progresses through the year, they will experience different seasons and weather patterns that affect gameplay. For example, in winter, some areas may be covered in snow and ice, making them more difficult to navigate. In contrast, the summer may bring new challenges, such as powerful creatures that emerge during that season. In terms of magic and spellcasting, the game will feature a variety of spells and incantations that players can learn and master. Each spell will have its own unique effects and uses, and the player will have to choose wisely when using them. There will also be consequences for using magic, such as attracting the attention of dangerous creatures or triggering magical protections in certain areas. The game will also have a character customization system, allowing players to create their own avatar and select their own house at Hogwarts. The choice of house will affect the player's interactions with other characters and the type of quests they receive. The advanced game designer also spoke about the AI system in the game, saying that the AI is designed to make the creatures and characters in the game feel as believable and lifelike as possible. They will have their own motivations and routines, and players will be able to interact with them in meaningful ways. Finally, the designer emphasized that the game is designed to be a single-player experience, and that players can expect to spend many hours exploring the rich, immersive world of Hogwarts. With a vast array of spells, creatures, and characters to interact with, the game promises to be a magical adventure for fans of the Harry Potter franchise. The 55-gig update for the game Hogwarts Legacy is likely a Day 1 patch, which will further refine the game and fix any bugs and glitches. It's reported that the same patch will be included in the digital copy of the game, and physical copies will require an internet connection to download it at launch. The update will improve performance, resolve animation and character spawning issues, and address pitch problems with character voices. The castle changes during nighttime, and some events only trigger during nighttime. The fatal screen in the game will display if the player dies or fails a quest. The game can be played offline, but an internet connection is required to download updates. And that's it for today's update on Hogwarts Legacy. Don't forget to share your thoughts on the 55-gig update, and if you've noticed any changes or improvements, make sure to tune in for more updates on the game and all things wizarding. Until next time, stay magical.